Welcome one, welcome all to Pit Road Productions. Hello to everyone watching on Swelio Almeida's channel as well. We are, of course, Pit Road Productions, and this is the final round of Season 2 of the Almeida Racing League. The F1600s have brought a lot of great entertainment over the course of this season, and we end things at Circuit Zandvoort in the Netherlands. Really looking forward to this one. It's going to be a massive finale to a fantastic championship. I'm Reese Gardner, Richard Swindells is over there, and that's Rob Campbell, our producer, sitting behind the scenes for the final round of this championship, Richard. We know F1600s. You've driven them plenty. I've driven them once or twice. And we know one thing for sure. They provide fantastic racing. We're going to get more of that here at a legendary Dutch circuit.
Yeah, Zandvoort's going to prove to be a really great track for the finale here of the Almeida Academy. Look for lots of drafting. I think we're going to see Reese, especially down that long straightaway entering turn 1. You've got the high bank turn 14, the area Leijendijk corner. It's going to make for some interesting racing, I think, tonight.
Yeah, indeed it will. 3 races on the cards for tonight. But why don't we take a look at how we got here. The race schedule for this series, 6 rounds with 2 paid tracks involved. We started at Alton Park back in March. We went to Winton and then Summit Point Raceway for round 3. Red Bull Ring 2 weeks ago, VIR last week, and Zandvoort here. And there's been drama. There's been fantastic racing at every single round of this series. I'm expecting no different from tonight. For what's on the cards here for tonight's racing, well, it's the same format that has been followed for the entire season. We've got 3 races here. They've just run a 60-minute practice session. They're in the middle of 15 minutes of open qualifying, and then 2 15-minute races to start things off. Race 2 has the top 10 from race 1 inverted for the grid, and then a 20-minute feature with the grid set by Heat 2. Since the second round, we've had no fast repair available, so the drivers have to be very careful not to damage their cars too much, and it is a fixed setup, so it's all down to the driver and how they can tune the brake bias on these cars. We are in qualifying now, and we're still waiting for those first lap times to come down here, but what we can tell you is that the pace was set by our coach, Kane Halliburton, in the session. And Richard, I understand you are new to this series, so if you want to know who the coaches are, just look for the gold machines, and they'll be our Almeida Racing League coaches who will start from the back of the grid in each race and provide an opportunity for some extra championship points for our drivers. For every lap they can defend from a coach, they get an extra championship point.
Oh, that's going to make some very interesting racing. I'm looking forward to seeing this as we take a look at Michael Dowding exiting the Arie Leijendijk curve, went down the main straightaway, followed closely, it looks like, is that Ian Joyner in behind him. And this is where Michael Prechek, we really need to take advantage of the draft here, I think, Reese, and that's going to be key in this qualifying effort.
Yeah, certainly is. Zandvoort, of course, a much more twisty and compact track than it used to be when it first opened. This place was first built in the late 1940s, and it had a very fast layout. Originally, as we follow along with Dowden, this is the original layout of the circuit, all the way up across the top of the hill and into this diving, sweeping corner named Schijvlak. I have never been able to quite nail that pronunciation, but that's as close as I can get with my Aussie accent. Here the circuit turns right, but it used to go straight on and have a super fast back section through the woods. Nowadays, it is certainly a measure of how much mechanical grip you have. It's very difficult to get the line right through these corners.
Yeah, and there's multiple lines through this corner right here, Zippy. Or sorry, Reese. Speaking from experience, yeah, well, old habits die hard. Multiple lines and different exit strategies here as we enter up here into the chicane.
Yeah, indeed. This is the Hans Ernst Bocht, the chicane that leads us towards Arie Leijendijk. And that was one of the corners that was widened for Formula One's return to Zandvoort. Dowden letting Prechuk go there and potentially wanting to try and get a draft. Right on board with Prechuk through the fearsome Arie Luijendijk-bocht. This is a banked corner, safer barriers on the outside, and it's flat out all the way to the start-finish line to begin another lap. It packs a lot of racetrack into a very tight space, does Circuit Zandvoort. And Prechuk, for a few seconds, was the fastest driver, but Andrew Moran, our championship leader coming into this round, was immediately eclipsing him. So it's a great start for our championship leader for this final round of the series. In fact, speaking of, Rob, I think we should take a look at those championship standings while qualifying keeps going here. In terms of the teams, well, red team is on top. Purple team is trailing a little bit, and you have to go all the way back another 500 points or so to the blue team. White and black rounding things off there. There's potential for black team to overcome white team for fourth, but we will have to wait and see. In the Drivers' Championship, it is Andrew Moran of the blue team who is on top by 19 points over Declan Marsden, who does not compete in the split one that we are broadcasting. All things considered, I think Andrew Moran is almost a shoo-in for champion here tonight. It depends, of course, on how the other splits go, but Moran has driven incredibly well this season, has taken more race wins than anybody, so I am thinking that it's going to be very solid for him. Matt Larkin, only 1 point behind Mario Strelec, and those two are competing in different splits as well, as Angus Lemon too, so some very close points here coming into the final round of the championship. We're already seeing some team games being played in qualifying. Team Blue pitching a draft off each other. Michael Dowden in the 0-1 and Andrew Moran in the 99 on the left side of your screen. And a 143.26 for Andrew Moran will consolidate that provisional pole.
Yeah, Andrew looking to just to extend his lead in the championship, make sure there's nobody going to have a chance to catch him, having a great qualifying effort thus far.
Yeah, fantastic indeed. He's 5/10 clear of Ian Joyner in the number 8, keeping up with the Team Black machine here of, that would be Leon Benfelsen. Obviously, one of the most popular guys in the field. His family showing up pretty much every round to cheer him on here. And Leon currently in 6th spot. It's not too bad, all things considered. All he needs to do is gain another 1/10 of a second, and he'll be provisional 4th. But just as I say that, Matt Larkin putting in a time, and Anthony Lanassa as well, 4th and 5th for the time being.
Yeah, everything's getting real tight up near the top outside of Andrew Moran with a little bit of a gap. These guys are battling hard and looking for every position they can get, because every position is one they don't have to make on track during the race.
Yeah, you say that, but the draft is so strong in these F1600s, and these guys are not afraid to get the elbows out and go for those moves. It's very rare that we have a clear lead for anyone in a battle, and I'm sure we're expecting the same thing here. Of course, if you're only just joining us for this final round, we should highlight that this is a series for students of the Almeida Racing Academy, the firm that Suelio Almeida runs with help from many of iRacing's best drivers, teaching from novice to seasoned competitor how to go faster. And this is their opportunity to prove themselves in the competitive sense of the word. You really get to put into practice a lot of the stuff that you learn from our coaches and from Suelio's motor racing checklist. Kevin Adrian here, trying his best to gain a few spots. Down in 15th at the moment, 1.3 seconds off the fastest time set by Andrew Moran. It's very difficult to actually find time around here because so many of the corners flow directly into each other, Richard.
Yeah, the corners flow directly into each other. And with the amount of drafting available, the alternate lines available here, coming into this section right here, there's You know, you see drivers going wide, you see them cutting it tight. It's really a matter of personal preference and racecraft during the race time to see where you can take advantage of the driver ahead of you.
Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of experimentation with lines throughout the race. Plenty of over-under maneuvers happening through that middle sector. Mike Sargent here, doing well enough for 4th so far. This is one of his best qualifying performances of the season thus far. We can always count on Mike Sargent to be a defensive weapon in the races. We'll see if this works out for him today. Catching a slipstream off the Team Red machine of Cairo Ends and sticking it tight out of Arie Luyendyk. He's got the draft, and we'll see what he can do. Ian Joyner taking provisional pole. Doesn't look like there was much of an improvement there from Mike Sargent, but Leon Bentvelsen does improve, and he is 5th for now.
Yeah, Ian Joyner making a big jump, passing Andrew Moran, and a little bit of a gap opening up up near the top right now, Reese. Something that we weren't seeing earlier in the practice sessions, and be interesting to see how this all pans out in the next 4 minutes.
Certainly. The qualifying gaps, I'm seeing that the biggest gap between two drivers is 0.5 of a second, and that's between Kevin Adrian and Lee Martinez, 17th and 18th. But throughout the rest of the field here, you'd be hard-pressed to find a gap above a couple of tenths. In fact, much of the gaps in the top 10, they are less than a tenth. I'm seeing Matt Larkin separated from Vijay Rajasekaran by only 100th of a second, only 200 separate Larkin and Mike Sargent. You only have to go back another 300s for Anthony Lanassa. Leon Bentvelsen having to go for a bit of avoiding action there, as it looks like that was the Team Purple car of Kevin Adrian going for a spin.
Yeah, a little slippery section there. The back end came a little loose. You know, these F1600 cars are a lot of fun to drive. I've driven a couple of seasons in them, and I think Almeida Racing Academy did a great job in selecting them as we watched Kevin Adrian pull off after that little incident.
Yeah, it looks like that's going to be him done for the short term. He has time to get back out there for one more lap, but it would be a tough ask to get to the line. Of course, this is a multi-race server, so that means there's a hard cut to the end of qualifying. If you don't start your final hot lap with more than about a minute 45 remaining on the clock, then you won't get to complete the lap. So you better be already approaching the end of your out lap here and getting yourself set up. Prechuk taking that super wide line through Hugenholtz, which is one of the corners that was massively reprofiled for when the circuit returned to Formula One. And it is that outside line that you really want to take. It sends you just shooting out of the corner, carrying that momentum through. Obviously, one of the things that you learn, one of the first things you learn about racing is you want to try and get the geometric fastest line through a corner, but that's not always the case.
Yeah, that high banked corner you're talking about, even if you look on the Formula One when they're racing there, they're definitely using that high line, you know, get a little more grip, a little more banking, and really explode you out of that corner entering into the next straightaway.
Well, looks like Prechuk will be able to get to the end of that lap there. Vijay Rajasekaran, unfortunately, running a bit deep under the brakes there, coming into the twisties, and he'll have to basically just focus on getting some track time now, because we only have a minute remaining in the session. If anyone isn't about a third to halfway around their hot lap now, they're not going to get another lap on the board. Can Andrew Moran respond to Ian Joyner and grab himself a pole position? Actually, looks like he's gone into the pits and he's practicing his starts. So looks like Joyner almost certainly confirmed to be your pole sitter. We'll see if there's any improvements from anybody in the final section of the session. No improvement from Sammy Hendricks, no improvements from Rivera, from Haggerty, from Lee Martinez either. And with a mere 15 seconds remaining, it looks like that's going to be the qualifying order pretty much sorted, unless we have some kind of massive surprise right at the end of the session. Well, we count 3, 2, 1, and 0. And in just a few seconds, you'll see everybody whoop, go away. And that will be the qualifying session done. Time for the grid for the first of our races tonight, of course. 15 minutes on the clock here. Ian Joyner taking pole position. He'll be massively happy with that one. Andrew Moran will join him on the front row. Michael Dowden and Anthony Lanassa on row 2. Mikhail Prechuk and Leon Benfelsen will start 5th and 6th. The 4th row taken up by Vijay Rajasekaran, with Matt Larkin joining him. Mike Sargent and Edwin Rivera are our top 10.
Then we have Sean Haggerty in 11th, followed by Mark Frederick in 12th. Rafael Romansky in 13th, followed by Cairo Enz. Then we have Sammy Hendricks, followed by Mikhail Sabanyars. Then we have Kevin Adrian, followed by Lee Martinez, followed by Valdez Vincevicius and Garrett Lund.
And taking up the rear, Zoltan Zomotor, 21st, and then Kane Halliburton and Brian Lockwood are our 2 coaches here today. They'll be starting from the back of the grid. They'll be seeing how far up they can get. They will be testing the students' ability to defend. This is going to be a massive final round of the championship, and if you're here live on Pit Road Productions or Suelio Almeida's channel, welcome. We hope that you enjoy the show to come. We're just waiting now for the grid timer to run out, and we'll be able to get this race going. Still got drivers filtering onto the grid. The standing start has always been a point of contention here. The drivers, of course, did a rolling start in the BMW M2 last season. It's been standing starts for the F1600s. And one thing's for sure, Andrew Moran has certainly got his standing starts down. It's half the reason that he's been able to get so far ahead in these races. Everyone revving their engines here to just get those engines warmed up, because God knows you're going to need the heat in the engine for the best performance down these straights. So, can Andrew Moran take the championship in style? Will his party be spoiled by the likes of Ian Joyner, Michael Dowden, or Anthony Lanassa? We find out right now as the green flag flies and we are away. Immediately moving to cover Lanassa is Michael Dowden. He's trying to help protect his teammate Andrew Moran there as they head into turn 1 at Tarzan for the first time. Clean start from our top 2. Good start from Joyner. He's got a couple of car lengths over Moran as they enter the Gerlachbocht and then Hugenholz through the opening sequence of the lap. Bit of oversteer being dealt with by many drivers in the midfield, but it's looking like a pretty clean start so far. Plenty of space being given through Hugenholz as they make their way over the dunes towards Skyblock.
Yeah, great start there from Joyner, and Moran maintaining his second place with assistance from teammate Michael Dowden. Here we take a look at the back of Ian Joyner. Andrew Moran all over the back of him. We've got the cars up, lined up nose to tail. Looks like everybody sorted themselves out through the first opening several corners of this race here, and a great start.
Yeah, my timing is projecting 9 laps for the 2 15-minute races that are upon us as things stand. Halfway around the lap, most forming into single file. Mikhail Sabiniaz and Lee Martinez, I think, were trading positions ever so briefly further back in the field, but now it's time to see who's going to get the best run onto the Arie Luijendijk corner. It looks like someone might have had some problems there at the back. That's Lee Martinez, actually, that's had a problem. Well, I'm sure we'll find out what happened to him in short order, but for now, Ian Joyner is going to lead the end of lap 1 here, but the slipstream is so important, and Andrew Moran has it.
Yeah, Andrew Moran looking to take full advantage of this, getting right up on the tail. Ian Joyner going defensive, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. Andrew Moran going around the outside. Can he maintain? And it looks like they're going to go side by side around corner 1 here. Andrew Moran fighting hard to take advantage of Ian Joyner. Andrew's got the inside, but that's going to make him on the outside for the next corner. Ian Joyner maintaining the outside line. This is going to be exciting here.
Oh, look at that from Moran. He immediately swapped up to the high line to try and block Joyner's exit. That is smart driving there from the number 99. And the top 4 have broken away from the rest of the field here. Joyner getting swamped by the Team Blue cars as Dowden struggles across the curb there. Stiff suspension in these cars, of course. No downforce to speak of, so you hit those curbs the wrong way and you are as good as gone. Anthony Lanassa keeping both of these guys very honest as they continue their side-by-side run through the middle sector.
Yeah, running side by side, you would think the cars behind would be able to close that gap, but they're still maintaining and opening up that gap. We're looking at Anthony Lanassa following in behind these two hard battling cars of Michael Dowden and Ian Joyner. Ian Joyner back up to second right now.
Yeah, looks like the inside line will go to Michael Dowden here for Hans Ernst, who's the last of the late breakers. Oh, it's very close between the two of them, but Dowden has him into the corner, and all of that battling has given Andrew Moran a 7/10 of a second lead, still crucially in slipstream range of the rest of the field. Now, we did see the top four breaking away a little bit the first part of this lap, but Ben Velzen has been leading a charge here from 5th place, and he's dragging Rajasekaran and Prechuk along with him, and looks like they've joined this battle now.
Yeah, the battling side by side has definitely made that 3-car pack into, instead of a 3 or 4-car pack, now it looks like we got 7 or 8. Oh, and Leon Benfell off the track, a little back end slide there, and that's going to cost him several positions.
Yeah, just too late on the brakes into Tarzan. He carried way too much momentum, and the rear end broke free. Well, now he's fallen back to 13th place, just managed to get going again, and he's fallen behind Brian Lockwood and Kane Halliburton, both of our coaches here. Speaking of Kane, well, he started down in 22nd position, I believe. He's already up to 8th, and he is harassing the back of Cairo Ends.
Yeah, Kane having a great start in these opening 3 laps. He's up 14 positions overall and harassing Kyrens, as you say.
Yeah, Cairo, one of the drivers that has been showing these flashes of brilliance and being able to race up the front on his day. A bit far away from the front of the field as things stand, but there's every chance that he can move forward as the day's racing goes on. Check back in with our top 3. Does Ian Joyner have any kind of response for Michael Dowden here, or is he just going to sit behind and bide his time?
Yeah, at this stage of the race, we're on lap 3, and as you say, 9 projected to come up into a line dike curve, and you know, the draft is very important. He really wants to make a move, get by Michael Dowden as soon as he can to try and put some pressure on Andrew Moran.
Yeah, there's two schools of thought here that I'm thinking about as Joyner sees the move to the inside and will carry that momentum into turn 1. Obviously, he would hope that Dowden catches up to Moran and then he'd have a chance at the lead again, but I think as the move through turn 1 happens, I think what's going on here is Dowden was keeping Joyner at bay, keeping a little bit of time to Andrew Moran, and helping his teammate there with the championship. I mean, obviously, we can't read minds. We don't know what's going on inside the drivers' heads, but that's one of many likely scenarios that's probably playing out at the moment. Regardless, Joyner back up to 2nd place, and he might be on the attack on Moran here.
Yeah, that only works if they're out of draft range, and Michael Dowden was within draft range of Moran, and that let Ian Joyner pull right up under the back. Ian Joyner looking to take advantage of the situation and, you know, try and close that gap a little bit to Andrew Moran in the points.
Oh. Yeah, Moran having a little bit of a squiggle coming out of the right-hander. And that's opened up the opportunity for Joyner to take it round the outside here. If you're on the outside on corner exit, it's not the end of the world. You can straighten the car up a bit earlier and get traction earlier too, but, oh God, don't make it 3 wide, boys. Jeez. Well, Moran going to keep this outside line here. A little bit of contact. Joyner sent wide. Oh, dear. Well, banging wheels. It was bound to happen at some point, but you can't blame Moran for wanting to protect that lead.
No, it would look like good, hard, clean racing, and that sends Joyner down to 4th. Anthony Lanassa moving up to 3rd here. These two are going to have to get in line if they want to get that lap closed up to Michael Dowden up ahead.
Yeah, so now, not much in the way of slipstream for Lanassa or Joyner. Dowden tucking back in behind Moran as the 5th lap of 9 begins. And the question is, will there be any sort of attempt at Dowden here to grab a win from Moran? Of course, Dowden would be concerned with his points as well. And he'd want the maximum. Every driver wants the maximum they can get out of a race like this. Oh, no! Oh dear, as one of our coaches around there, that was Halliburton. No, it was Lockwood. Lockwood that got spun there by, I think that might have been...
That was Sammy Hendricks, I believe, there.
Yeah, Sammy Hendricks, a novice coach at the Almeida Racing Academy. One of the faster drivers in this field. So, yeah, that's a little bit of an awkward moment between those two. Fortunately, doesn't result in a retirement for Lockwood. He can continue on, and considering the talent behind the wheel of that golden number 24, he'll certainly waste no time trying to get it back up there.
Yeah, these cars are surprisingly resilient, considering how small and light they are, and having driven them many times. We're going to go back up to the leaders going through the chicane. We continue to have Andrew Moran, followed by Michael Dowden and Ian Joyner. Anthony Lanassa is now moved down to 4th.
Yeah, it seems like the ebb and flow has fallen in the favor of a top 4 breakaway now. Once again, I'm sure that Rajasekaran and Prechuk will be able to catch up if there's a little bit of side-by-side between these guys. But for now, it's looking like the top 4 are more than comfortable on their own here. And look at the pack here coming across the line. There's the cover. Oh, bit of contact there between Dowden and Joyner, and Ian runs into the back of him. Oh, that is wheels up in the air for Ian Joyner and around for Michael Dowden in the middle of turn 1. Oh, no. It's gotten worse. That's Cairo Enns that's gone straight into him.
Oh, the little tough battling there, and a little too much contact. And we watch, and he's just stuck there, unfortunately, Cairo Enns.
Ah, that's such a shame for the two of them. Well, we'll check that out again, and it was already happening as they came across the start-finish line, but Joyner, I think, a little bit too late on the brakes, went into the back of Dowden there. Maybe a bit of red mist descending, because Dowden clearly moved over on Joyner as he was trying to go for the pass, but we won't speak too much on what the incident looked like. We'll leave it for race control to decide, and oh dear. Yeah, Cairo Enns, I understand what he was trying to do there. He was trying to go the outside of the corner. I don't think he was anticipating that Dowden would try and reverse up the track.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those best to stay where you are and not sure what to do, unfortunately. But that lets us, Anthony Lanassa moves him up to 2nd place. Now he's on the back of Andrew Moran. Ian Joyner not out of this after all of that going on, and he's still holding on to 3rd. We got a 3-car pack now instead of 4. Still got, looks like just over 3 laps to go here in this first race of the afternoon.
Yeah, cue the Jaws music, says our producer Rob Campbell. Kane Halliburton is closing in and his teeth are bared. He smells blood in the water. Let's see what we can do to get him a bit further up there as Lanassa is going for the lead on Andrew Moran. Round the outside of Tarzan, it can be done, but Moran able to get a little bit more momentum on the inside there. Question is, will Lanassa be able to get the move done here at Hugenholtz? No, Moran will move ahead and block the line right at the correct moment. Now, the problem here for Moran is he doesn't have a teammate to help him now. Anthony Lanassa and Ian Joyner, they're both in this for themselves at this point. They want that win.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting now, running by yourself versus running with a teammate. It definitely changes the scope and how you approach this race. Ian Joyner still looking strong. I don't think he took much damage there in that little bit of contact. And Anthony Lanassa pushing hard here as we come through halfway through this 7th lap.
Yeah, you're right when you say that these cars are very resilient. I mean, it wasn't too long ago we saw Ian Joyner doing a wheelie. His front was airborne, basically, and came down crashing hard. But the car miraculously has escaped too much damage, continuing on and still in contention for the win. Halliburton then trying to get into the top 5 on Mikhail Prechuk as Moran exits Hans Ernst. Gotta wonder, Vijay Rajasekaran, Prechuk and Halliburton, the lap times that they're running at the moment, it's more or less equal, if not maybe a couple of tenths quicker than the top 3. But the top 3, what they're doing is they're drafting. That's giving them a little bit of extra run here down the front straight, almost 3 wide. Moran's going to protect that inside line from Ian Joyner, but it looks like Lanassa has done enough to get into the lead, dipping a wheel off the curb into the gravel on the exit of turn 1. We have Team Purple leading the way for now.
Yeah, Anthony Lanasa taking the lead for the first time this race, as we're going to take a look and replay here. This is by going down the outside. Andrew Moran covering off the inside. Then we've got Ian Joyner going up the middle, 3 wide. Anthony
pulls
Lanasa
out of it at the last second, though.
Yeah, Anthony Lanasa out around the outside, and that gets the move done.
Certainly does. It was a nice move from Lanasa. He must have used that outside line and the sort of ramp that comes off the top of the banking to get that extra bit of momentum. The problem is he might not be able to hold on to it because they're only going to have 1 lap to go when they cross the line next, and Lanasa's basically a sitting duck at this point. He's got Moran and Joyner in slipstream range, and they'll be looking to get past him into turn 1 as the white flag flies.
Yeah, the start-finish line, it looks like it's about 2/3 of the way down the straightaway, so it's not all over here. There's going to be, I think we're going to see some interesting things happen down this lap and then around the final lap. We've got Ian Joyner all over the back of Andrew Moran. Andrew Moran closing the gap to Anthony Lanasa as they come around the line dike corner, going down the straightaway, approaching the white flag.
And there's that little bit of slipstream that Andrew Moran needed. Ian Joyner is boxed in. Moran is classed ahead by a mere few hundredths of a second as the white flag flies, and deep under brakes at turn 1. Moran will continue to carry the speed and gets the exit nailed. And ultimately, Lanasa, the one compromised there. He had to take the tighter line. He was running a bit slower. He's going to lose second place there to Ian Joyner. Or is he? Look at the run that he gets out of Hugenholtz. That is the high line being used perfectly.
Yeah, Anthony Lanasa doing a great job fighting back, not giving up that second position. Now he's going to battle and try and get up and catch to the back of Andrew Moran. Ian Joyner wants none of that, though. Ian Joyner all over the back of Anthony Lanasa. What an exciting final lap we've got here, Reese.
Yeah, this is going to be amazing, this run to the line. I get the sinking feeling that Moran might be just a little too far ahead for them to really make an impression on him coming up to the line. It's all going to come down to how they take this final sector. Looks like in the background, Kane Halliburton succeeded in getting past Mikhail Prechuk, and he'll try to chase down Vijay Rajasekaran, but there's every chance that Vijay will be safe in 4th for now. But we know how late Mr. Halliburton likes to brake. No change in the top 3 for the moment. And look at that run through Hans Ernst from Lanasa. Big slide from Ian Joyner. That might have sealed it for him. Just catching the grass a little bit on the exit. Moran maximizing the curb. Joyner beyond maximizing the curb as they find their way out of Arie Luyendyk. The checkered flag is out. And despite the slipstream, despite the gains they're making, it's going to be Andrew Moran who wins race 1 here at Zandvoort.
What a great finish we had. Andrew Moran doing a great job taking that lead on the penultimate lap, the end of the penultimate lap, and watching Valdez Vinicius going down the track here. We've got these 3 cars, but I don't expect to see any moves. Whoa, big late charge, and I think he got him there.
Hello. Yeah, that was Leon Benfelsen slow out of the final corner. I'm not sure what happened there. Looks like Benfelsen actually tagged the wall on the exit of Arie Luyendyk. I don't know if it was understeer or he was just concentrating on something else, but yeah, looks like Valdes Vansevicius got him right at the line. Cairo ends, we saw crashing into Michael Dowden last time we looked at him. Well, he managed to recover and finish 17th. Dowden has gotten back out there as well, but unfortunately he is all the way down in 19th, and looks to me like that's going to be the last few cars across the line there. In fact, Dowden is the last driver out there at the moment, just crossing the line. He would have been hoping for a lot better from that first race. He was battling for the lead, but it all came to naught. Well, those are your Heat 1 results then. Andrew Moran winning by 2.5 tenths from Lanasa. Joyner, Rajasekaran and Prechuk are your top 5. Sammy Hendricks finishing in 6th place. Edwin Rivera classified 7th with Valdes Vansevicius, Leon Benfelsen and Garrett Lund, your top 10. Flip that top 10 And that's what you're going to have for the start of race 2. Lund on top alongside Bent Velsen. Valdas Vansavicius and Edwin Rivera are your second row. Hendricks and Prechuk 5th and 6th. Vijay Rajasekaran and Ian Joyner are your 4th row, with Lanassa and Moran 9th and 10th. Then from there on back, it's where they finished in race 1. Mark Frederick and Sean Haggerty ahead of Rafael Romansky and Zoltan Zomotor. Cairo Enns and Kane Halliburton are your 8th row, with Matt Larkin, Brian Lockwood row 9. Dowden and Sabiniaz are your top 20 rounded out. Then we have Mike Sargent, Lee Martinez, and Kevin Adrian, who did not have good race ones by any stretch of the imagination. Well, now, Richard, it is time for the start of this second race, and I'm looking forward to this, to be sure.
Yeah, inverted grid always makes for great racing. Really looking forward to seeing how this all pans out. Our race winner, Andrew Moran, starting 10th. He's going to be wanting to make a charge, and guys up front looking to hold their positions.
Yeah, for sure. Interestingly, in the form of Garrett Lund, it is a Team Blue car still out in front. So there's big points hauls potential here for Team Blue as this night goes on. We'll check back in with the team standings here. Blue team, 400 and something points behind the purple team there for second spot. They're going to need pretty much perfect results in all splits to really overcome purple, though. So unlikely that we're going to be seeing a change for that second spot in the team standings. But still, it's nice for Team Blue to see their cars up the top thus far in every session so far tonight. Still got about a minute and a half before we have the race get off to a start here. Seeing a request here that Mikhail Sabiniaz lost connection to the server. He has reconnected, so I think there's still going to be time for him to get back onto the grid. It's never ideal when you lose connection when you're going to grid for a race. It's one last bit of stress that you don't need.
No, and normally they're very quick between the first race and the second race. A little bit of a time gap here, and hopefully that allows Mikhail to the ability to get back and join the grid. I've been there. I think we've all been there, Reese, and you're just counting the seconds, hoping that loads in quickly enough for you to make the start.
Yeah, fingers crossed that Mikhail will be able to get back into the server, but for now, it looks like Bent Velsen has not taken to the grid himself yet. This is, I'm hoping, time's running out here for Leon. I don't see him off, I don't see him as having lost connection to the server, though. Hopefully Leon gets onto the grid in the next 3 seconds. Otherwise, oh, there he is, just in time. We're not going to start without him here. And we'll get ready for the green flag. It looks like Sabiniaz has made it onto the grid, so we will get our full field here for the green flag. We are away, and that is a great start from Garrett Lund, protecting from Leon Bent Velsen, but it looks like on the upshifts, on the second phase of the start, Bent Velsen going for it into the first turn. Will he be able to get the exit, though, is the question. Side by side for the lead on the way out of Tarzan, and into Hugenholtz they'll come. That is a bit deep there from Valdas Vansavicius behind, trying to keep Edwin Rivera behind him, and there's a spin in the midfield. One of the Team Purple cars is around. Ian Joyner has been spun as well. It looks like it's Vijay Rajasekaran that has come a cropper around the outside of Hugenholtz.
Yeah, not the start that Ian Joyner was looking for after that great race one. And we're going to go back up. Leon Bent Velsen, great start, making that move past Garrett Lund to start and breaking away from the opening pack a little bit here.
Yeah, it looks like Lund's falling back to fourth. This is what happened here to Vijay Rajasekaran. Sammy Hendricks on his inside there. He turns down a bit, and I think Hendricks was expecting him to stay high, and that was a wild ride for Ian Joyner in the red car. Very unfortunate indeed. We got so distracted by that incident that we completely missed how Garrett Lund fell to fourth. This is the onboard from Joyner. I mean, on the outside there's not much you can do.
No, just, he's just a passenger at that stage, unfortunately. As we pick it up with the leaders, Leon Bent Velsen, nice opening gap over Valdez Vencevicius. Then we have Edwin Rivera in third.
Yeah, good start from Leon Bentvelsen, and his fan club will be cheering him on in the chat here. Keep an eye on Vencevicius as well, because this happened to him here on the exit, and actually this is what put Garrett Lund down to fourth. He didn't get the exit he wanted there from Hugenholtz, and he ended up getting mobbed. Oh dear, I've just seen another problem at turn 1 on live pictures. Edwin Rivera spun at the first corner. Looks like there weren't many other cars involved, but Vencevicius came in on him there. You'll see it here up the inside of turn 1. Turns in, does Rivera, but Vencevicius was still there.
Yeah, the wheels overlapped each other, and just no space, and once they touched, that was it.
Indeed it did. Well, let's see what Andrew Moran, our race 1 winner, can do. He's already found his way back up to 4th. He is behind Vencevicius, and we have the coach, Kane Halliburton, working his way back up to 6th already. A massive start for Kane. And this is the first time in a while that we've seen Halliburton and Moran on track together.
Yeah, and we make for interesting racing as we look at the back of Vencevicius. He's got a tough battle here with Andrew Moran. Andrew Moran looking to move up to the front. Andrew looking like he's got the inside as they enter the chicane here, and job done.
Yeah, very nice indeed for Andrew Moran, up into the top 3, and he'll be setting his sights on Valdez Vencevicius and Leon Bentvelsen as we begin our 3rd lap here. So much has already gone on in this race, and we are only a third of the way in.
Wow, we're coming up to complete lap 2, and lots of action so far. We're going to follow on with Kane Halliburton. Kane looking up the back of Mark Frederick. Kane going down to the inside. Can he hold the line? Can he get the move done? It's going to be tough. It's 3 wide.
Oh, God.
No.
Oh, that's Valdez Vencevicius that has gone for a wild ride, and it looks like some contact from Mark Frederick as well. Big 3 wide moment with the coach on the inside. Oh, Cairo Enns has spun as well.
All kinds of incidents this race. Not what we were hoping to see, and but Andrew Moran continuing his charge. He's sitting 3rd now, starting 10th. Andrew Moran moving up through the field.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Andrew Moran thus far. You can see why he is the championship leader here and likely to take the overall championship. It's races like this that really define a champion. Well, this is a huge pack, I have to say. Mark Frederick and Sean Haggerty in the Team Blue cars leading this one. Brian Lockwood 3rd in line, and we have Sargent, Lund, Hendricks, Dowden, and Larkin all together here. Massive pack for 5th place that stretches all the way down to 12th.
Oh, that's good tight racing. Shows you how important it is to stay in the draft. All these drivers maintaining their positions. Take a look at Brian Lockwood trying to get closer to Mark Frederick as they enter the final corner here.
Yeah, this is going to be a huge draft train, I have to say. If you're near the end of this pack, if you're the Team Black car of Mike Sargent, you are going to be getting pretty much a quadruple slipstream. Well, Sean Haggerty sitting duck in a straight line, 3 wide. Lockwood going to try at the inside here at Tarzan. He is hard on the brakes, is Brian, and he gets the move done cleanly. Sargent decides, yep, I'll stick my nose in there too.
Yeah, it looked almost like they were standing still. He went by so quick. That draft is very powerful here at Zandvoort.
Definitely is, and thinking about the draft, I'm wondering how long it's going to be before Leon Bentvelsen is in trouble, because I'm looking at those lap times from our leaders here. Bentvelsen's last was a 1:44.3, but Mikhail Prechuk a 1:43.9, so 4/10 gained on the lead there. Moran with a 43.3. He was a full second faster than Bentvelsen on the last lap.
Yeah, once again showing that strength of draft as we watch Moran making a move up the inside. Whoa. Wow. Andy. Wow, I don't even know what to say here, Reese. This is exciting stuff. Oh, that little bit of touching, it looks like, and Moran has to go back into 3rd, but still all over the back of Mikhail Prechuk.
Yeah, that was a bit of wheel to side pod contact, I think, but both of them survived it. Moran sees a very narrow gap to fit his car into, and it turns into another opportunity here at Hans Ernst, but around the outside, using a bit of the banking there in the middle of the road, Mikhail Prechuk staying ahead for now. And cue the Jaws music once again, because here's Kane Halliburton.
I don't understand the reference to Kane Halliburton being Jaws, but I love it, Reese. Kane.
Because he's coming for you.
Kane getting himself back in. And this 3-car battle is now becoming a 4-car battle. We're looking at Michael Prechuk trying to hold off Andrew Moran. Andrew Moran going up the inside. Andrew Moran trying to get that move, but Michael Prechuk holding faster on the outside. Andrew Moran looks like he's got, whoa, here we go. This is all what matters. Coming up on the last couple of corners before they enter the twisty straight, and Andrew Moran has got the move done and covered him off.
Yeah, finally, Andrew Moran's probably thinking. Now he can focus on Leon Bentvelsen up ahead. Well, Kane Halliburton might try to spoil the party a little bit here. Mikhail Prechuk, his next target. That's the back view from Bentvelsen as you see the very smooth way that Andrew Moran enters Scheivlach. A beautiful sweeping corner that comes into this stop-start middle section of the lap. Every time we see them enter a corner here, you see Moran is just so confident on the way in. He's turning that car and it's doing exactly as he expects. Of course, it is fixed setup. They're all driving effectively the same car, but if you're able to drive to the strengths of the setup, that is the other mark of a champion. And the slipstream is on for Moran down this short straight, but it's not quite long enough for a move into Hans Ernst.
No, it's not quite strong enough there, but setting himself up great for coming down the main straightaway, the pit straight, and Andrew Moran closing that gap on Leon Bentvelsen. As they exit Line Dyke Corner here, we're going to see what Moran's got. Does he have enough to make the move down the end of Tarzan?
The slipstream really kicked in the middle of the corner, didn't it? Moran carries that momentum all the way down the start-finish straight and will lead across the line. Into turn 1 they come, and Bentvelsen will be able to stick to the inside there and avoid Kane Halliburton making up any more time. Well, for now, that's the state of your top 4. Look a bit further back, and you see Garrett Lund, who's fallen all the way back to 11th spot here. He's trying to get back into the top 10. Matt Larkin up ahead, Sammy Hendricks behind. All 3 of these drivers have something to prove here.
Yeah, Sammy Hendricks and Garrett Lund both looking to make recovery runs after early incidents, and continuing following on. We've got Brian Lockwood, Mike Sargent, and Mark Frederick. It looks like we got a 5-car train, and these guys are battling hard. They're nose to tail, make a move up the inside and get one job done, and no, not yet. And there's going to be a couple more corners where he's going to be all over the back and trying to get that job done in the pass made.
Yep, got to wait a little bit longer for that. Well, Mr. Sargent, he's certainly a tough customer when it comes to passes. But what about actually passing someone? That is the other question. Brian Lockwood still leading this pack, and a Team Blue trio of Frederick, Haggerty, and Dowden just behind. Sargent sticking to the slipstream very nicely. But for his fellow Team Black car, he is getting attacked by a coach. And Kane Halliburton will be looking to move into 2nd spot here. Bentvelsen doing the smart thing and sticking to the inside there to make the job just a little bit harder for Kane Halliburton. Both of them getting the slipstream off Andrew Moran. And Halliburton will fling it into turn 1. He's not quite able to maximize the corner there because Moran was, if anything, in the way. Bentvelsen almost interlocking wheels there with Kane Halliburton. But they give each other space through Gerlachbocht and Hugenholtz. Look at the run out of the corner there from Leon. He has nailed the acceleration out of that corner.
Yeah, he has, but Kane Halliburton doing a good job holding him off, and Moran doing a little looking in his mirrors. These 2 drivers battling hard, trying to close that gap, trying to get on top of Moran after his race 1 victory.
Indeed. There's been a lot of chaos in this field and lots of scintillating action up at the front. We had 3 cars in the pits with mechanical black flags: Zoltan Zomotor, Anthony Lanassa, and Ian Joyner. Unfortunately, the incidents in the opening laps have not been kind to that trio. But for now, keep an eye on Mark Frederick. 7th place for now, working his way up from 11th. But the likes of Mike Sargent and co, probably the ones who would be awarded the Hard Charger Award. Sargent started this race in 21st.
Oh, yeah, Sargent up 16 positions thus far. Kane Halliburton sitting in second, up 14 positions. But, man, look at this. We've got a 6-car train here. These guys battling hard. Mike Sargent holding off Brian Lockwood at this stage, and right behind them we've got Michael Dowden.
Yeah, it's a solid effort from Sargent to keep Lockwood behind him, actually get past him in the first place. Change for the lead up ahead. Looks like Andrew Moran and Kane Halliburton side by side on the way out of turn 1, and Kane has nailed the outside exit of Tarzan. They are going to give each other just enough space, but not an inch more, to work their way through the corner. And washing out a bit wide there was Halliburton. Moran making up a bit of time on the exit here. They're going to be side by side through a portion of the circuit where side by side is rarely advisable. Leon Bentvelsen has nowhere to go.
Yeah, Leon, though, looking to take full advantage, and he's there in case anything happens up ahead of him. We're on lap 8, expected to be 9 laps here, and these 3 guys battling like we're on the final lap here. Get the nose right underneath the back of Kane Halliburton, does Andrew Moran.
Yeah, big move. And, oh dear, we've heard that something has happened to Mike Sargent. We were just singing his praises as he worked his way up through the field. But this happened to him down at Gerlachbocht, side by side with Lockwood. Catches the curb, that's all fine. But, oh, he loses the rear end coming into Hugenholtz and clambers over the tyre barrier. And that is his race 2 done. Moran, meanwhile, still fighting with Halliburton for the lead of the race. The outside exit is going to become the inside for the penultimate corner here for for Kane Halliburton, sorry.
Yeah, Leon Bentvelsen, though, sitting there. He might be in the driver's seat. He's sitting there 3rd, and he gets to pick his lane where he wants to follow here, going down the straight.
White flag out. You see it waving in the background there. And Leon Bentvelsen decides now is the time to try making the move. 3 wide for the lead coming into turn 1. Bentvelsen on the racing line, but he doesn't have anywhere to go. Got 2 cars to the inside there. He's going to try the over-under now on Andrew Moran, but can't get the momentum. Halliburton still leads the way into Gerlachbocht, but there's plenty more opportunities for these guys to slice and dice.
As we're coming up here, we're going up, and we've still got Leon Bentvelsen holding on tough, and he's sitting there. Andrew Moran looking up the inside. This, like you said, this is not an advisable part to try and make a pass, but it's now or never, and Andrew Moran is nose a little bit ahead, but Kane Halliburton battling back. Kane Halliburton got the inside right now.
Yeah, this is all going to come down to who has the best position in the slipstream coming out of the penultimate corner. If Bentvelsen stays in 3rd place, he might be able to get a slipstream off of both of these guys and snap it up at the final stanza. Well, for now, he's positioning his car for a good exit down the straight here. And, yeah, look at him. He's trying to find a way through still. Moran moving over on him just a little bit. They almost go 3 wide into Hans Ernst, and Moran bumps Halliburton. Bentvelsen will be grateful that he stayed back there. These guys battling is bringing Mikhail Prechuk right into it. Now is the time to set up your run out of the final corner. Who's going to take victory here? Is it going to be Kane Halliburton, Andrew Moran, or Leon Bentvelsen? This is the question. Checkered flag is out. Bentvelsen picking up the slipstream with Moran on the slipstream. He's managed to just get Halliburton at the line. Bentvelsen couldn't get the exit he needed. He'll have to settle for 3rd. Michael Dowden crossing the line side by side with Brian Lockwood. Lockwood beating him by 9 thousandths.
What a finish we've had here. Exciting race and exciting finish there, Reese. My goodness.
Yeah, man, that was a great race up at the front. It did get a bit pushy at times, but that's what we love to see. Valdas Vansevicius here on the replay, meanwhile. It looks like on the final lap, something went very wrong indeed for him. Just caught the grass coming into Hans Ernst. That's the worst place to catch the grass on turn in there. Well, we'll see a replay here as well of the run that Andrew Moran got on Kane Halliburton out of the final corner there. The gap for the lead, ultimately 0.03 of a second. Well, your results now are as follows. Andrew Moran taking the second win of the night so far. Halliburton second, with Bent Velzen right behind him there. I get the feeling this is still the Heat 1 results. Yeah, well, little hint to the producer. Third place, Leon Bentvelzen. Mikhail Prechuk in fourth, with Brian Lockwood rounding out the top 5. The sixth spot car being Michael Dowden, up from 19th place, and 7th place being Mark Frederick, 7th for him. Haggerty, Larkin, and Lund rounding out your top 10. Well, that is, yeah, go on.
Yeah, then we had Sammy Hendricks in 11th, followed by Lee Martinez in 12th. Valdez Vansvicius in 13th, followed by Rafael Romansky. In 15th, we had Cairo Enns, followed by Edwin Rivera. And then we had Vijay Rajasekaran, followed by Mike Sargent.
Yeah. Zomotor and Sabiniaz 19th and 20th. Sorry, we started reading the results a bit early there. There are actually still drivers finishing the race. Sabiniaz rounding out that top 20. Anthony Lanassa and Ian Joyner, the last two cars to finish. It looks like Kevin Adrian did not take to the start in either the first or the second races here tonight. Well, now that we are in the warm-up session, it's time for a word from the men behind this fantastic racing league, the Almeida Racing Academy.
The Almeida Racing League is growing fast. Hundreds of drivers, multiple splits, broadcasted races, and it's not just about individual winning, it's a team championship. You race with your own squad, you learn how to compete, and you grow together. And we don't throw you into the races blindly. Every week, we help you prepare with pit parties to train side-by-side battles, workshops with live coaching, 20 driving challenges with full tutorials, and even group raids into official iRacing races after the league night. For just $25 a month, this is the most complete training experience in sim racing. Join us as a member today to start your advanced training and racing with us. I'll see you on track.
Yep, see you on track, Swelio Almeida. Of course, none of this would be possible without him and the crew behind the Almeida Racing Academy. And of course, the Almeida Racing League is always open to students of the Almeida Racing Academy. It's awesome to see the support that they give to the drivers here with the pit parties that Swelio mentioned, being able to really test out the side-by-side battles and learn in an environment that isn't as consequential as doing official race after official race and losing I rating and safety rating and whatever. You can learn safely with the Almeida Racing Academy. Well, 3 minutes remain in warm-up, and what we know from this is that Andrew Moran has done just about enough here to solidly clinch that championship. He was almost in there before the final round. But 740 points up the top. This is, once again, the standings coming into this round. 19 points ahead of Declan Marsden, who races in another split here. Morandini, Strelek, and Matt Larkin in 5th spot. Now, in terms of Larkin, well, he might be in a bit of trouble here in terms of the points, because his results have not been consistent thus far tonight. Really should have been in the top 8, but he got involved in a problem in race 1 and ended up settling for 17th a lap down. He made his way back up to 9th in race 2, though, so he has another opportunity here to work his way towards the front. And the other split 1 driver in the top 10 is, of course, our championship leader. So that's how things stand in terms of the points. And Richard, we can bring you back in. We have 2 minutes remaining in this warm-up, and then it's time for the 20-minute final race set by the finishing results of race 2. There's going to be quite a few drivers here who'll be looking for some redemption.
Yeah, there's a lot of incidents in unfortunate incidents in race 2, and definitely a lot of people looking to make some big moves. Ian Joyner, a bunch of guys. It was unfortunate racing for several drivers looking to make a big comeback, but Andrew Moran cementing his position up top of the field for this season.
Yeah, for sure. It's been an almost flawless season from Andrew Moran. Of course, he has had to work for victories, and everyone has raced him just as hard as anyone else, but ultimately he has come out on top, and he's been the one getting those points where they matter. Easily one of the most consistent results getters of the entire field here. Well, looking over the beautiful scenery here, at Circuit Zandvoort, just outside the resort town of Zandvoort in the Netherlands. There's a lot of history in this place, and I think a little bit more to be made here in the sim world when the Almeida Racing League concludes after this final 20-minute race. Now, 5 extra minutes will be at hand for the drivers. That'll translate to around about 3 extra laps, I think, to get things sorted. That means that we'll likely see some great battles continuing on past where they would in race 1. Well,
Yeah,
clock is at 0, Richard.
I think that extra 5 minutes just means we've got 5 minutes extra of action, and like you said, about 3 laps extra of passing opportunities. So it's really, I think there's a lot of strategy involved here, Reese. It's all about getting yourself in that position for the final corner, being up tight enough to make a move, and we saw that happen last race with Andrew Moran.
We certainly did. Speaking of Moran, he's on pole. Halliburton, of course, will fall to the rear of the grid, but on the grid, he is second. Bent Bilzen starting in third. This is going to be a big opportunity for Leon to maybe, potentially, take a win this season. Mikhail Prechuk joins him on the second row. Brian Lockwood and Michael Dowden, 5th and 6th, with Mark Frederick and Sean Haggerty on your 4th row, Matt Larkin in 9th, and Garrett Lund rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, then we have Sammy Hendricks in 11th, followed by Lee Martinez in 12th. Valdez Vencevicius in 13th, followed by Rafael Romansky in 14th. Then we have Cairo Enns, followed by Edwin Rivera. Vijay Rajasekaran in 17th, followed by Mike Sargent. Zoltan Zamator in 19th, and running out the top 20, Michael Sabanyars.
Lanassa starting 21st with Ian Joyner joining him, as it were, on the 11th row here. And it's already time for the revs to rise and get things going for the final race of the Almeida Racing League for Season 2. And it looks like Halliburton is going to take that second place and race his heart out here up at the front. He's already going for the outside around champion-elect Andrew Moran, but Moran gets the exit out of turn 1, at least in the initial phase there. Halliburton's clambering all over the curbs to try and get some kind of advantage here, diving up the inside of Hugenholtz, up the hill, and using the banking to fling himself out of the corner. Bentvelsen is right there with them, though. This is the time to be making those moves and getting yourself in contention, but he's boxed in at the moment as Leon. There's nowhere he can go. He's thinking, oh no, this is the final few laps of race 2 all over again.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. We watched Brian Lockwood following up in 4th place. Brian all over the back of Leon Bentvelsen, and these 4 drivers battling hard here. Great job by Kane Halliburton covering up Andrew Moran, maintaining 1st place.
Oh, Brian Lockwood getting up the inside of Leon Bentvelsen there. That is not ideal there for Leon. He's having to go defensive and lose touch with our top 2. Halfway around the first lap. Well, it would be very easy, I think, to get that position, that sort of track position back with the slipstream as powerful as it is. Halliburton still leading the way into Hans Ernst, and it looks like we have a Team Red car in the background running pretty wide. There's some chaos going on back through the field. Martinez re-entering the racetrack in the background there, and it looks like Lee actually ran into the back of one of the Team Blue cars.
Yeah, ran into the back, had to run off on it. We're going to go back to live racing here. We're going down the straightaway. We've got Andrew Moran on the inside, Kane Halliburton on the outside. Kane trying to close that gap. Kane trying to make a move around the outside on Andrew Moran, and Kane getting that move done.
And it looks like Brian Lockwood's getting in on this action as well. He'll move up into third and complete that move finally on Leon Benvelsen. But Leon's going to keep fighting it here into Gerlachbocht. Michael Dowden right with them here as well. Look at Benvelsen using that outside line. That is a magnificent run for the Team Black car. And Dowden getting a great run using the inside line out of the corner too. Brian Lockwood, a bit of a sitting duck coming over the dunes into Skyblock, but he'll have the inside into that beautiful sweeping right-hander. Dowden, though, clambering all over the curb on the exit to try and get the run on him. It's going to be difficult to try and defend around the outside into this double right, though. And Benvelsen, for now, has some breathing room to try and mount an attack again on Moran and Halliburton.
Yeah, while all that's going on, it looks like we may have had some incidents back in the midfield. Evan Rivera, we had a few guys crash, it looks like. See what we can pick up here with Rajas Karan. Going down into Tarzan. Oh, and...
oh, God.
Trying to avoid the car. Car's getting a little loose in front of him, trying to avoid it, and that was not good. We're going to go back up to the front, though. We've got Kane Halliburton still maintaining a lead over Andrew Moran and Leon Benvelsen. These three drivers, Andrew Moran in great drafting position, but Leon Benvelsen trying to take advantage. He's sitting in the third, and third is often a good place to be. Moran going around the outside. Benvelsen trying to stick with him.
Yeah, this is going to be tight. Coming into turn one, Halliburton defending that inside line. And there's a bit of gravel that's been kicked up onto the racetrack there on the exit of turn one from all the incidents we've seen over the course of the day's racing. Benvelsen, once again, being forced to stay behind here. Look at the run as well from Halliburton. He got a great launch out of the corner, but the car just stalls out there once you get back to the flat. That's the issue with Hugenholtz. You can have the best run you like hooking it up, but once you get to the flatter part of the racetrack, often your pace just drops away.
Yeah, these Ford 1600s are great cars for racing. I love racing these guys. Kane Halliburton going on the outside. Andrew Moran tucking it up on the inside. 2x2, here they go. Leon Benvelsen sitting in third, and that's allowing the Michael Dowden and Brian Lockwood to close the gap down here.
It certainly is. Curious to know who was involved in that in that turn one incident earlier. I think it might have been Sabiniaz and Rivera that unfortunately didn't work things out. Sabiniaz has been dealing with that mechanical black flag for a while, and it looks like he just pulled away into the pits. It was Edwin Rivera on the inside, and one of the Team White cars as well. I think it might have been Zoltan Zomotor. But back to live pictures for the battle for the lead. Look at how tight it is. We're still side by side here between Moran and Halliburton, and Benvelsen half thought about making it 3 wide, but keep an eye out for Michael Dowden. He's back up here, and oh dear, they're going to go 4 wide! 4 wide down the front straight into turn one. Benvelsen, the first one to get to the corner. But the inside line for Michael Dowden, he moves to the lead.
Oh my goodness, what a race we've got going on here, Reese. Michael Dowden, Liam Benvelsen, Kane Halliburton, Andrew Moran, all of them wanting to get up to the front. And right now it looks like we're going to have Michael Dowden maintain his position.
Oh, a little bit of miscommunication between Kane Halliburton and Leon Benvelsen. There's still a tiny bit of overlap there for the number 2. Benvelsen's going to have to give him the space there going into Skyblock. What a turnaround for Michael Dowden. Remember how he was unfortunately taken out of the first race. Had to settle for 19th. Worked his way back up to 6th in race 2. And now finds himself in the lead of the final race of the season. What an incredible moment that was. That 4 wide. Benvelsen trying to be the last of the late breakers there, but just left the door open for Dowden to take it.
Dowden up 5 positions on the day, and a great move entering Tarzan, and my goodness, we've got ourselves a race tonight.
Absolutely, we have Andrew Moran versus Leon Benvelsen for third. A little bit of contact between the two of them. Moran having to settle for letting Brian Lockwood alongside him, and Benvelsen will skip away just about a car length or so, maybe less. And Lockwood all the way off into the gravel trap. Unfortunately for Andrew Moran, that does not arrest his pace all that much, and now Mikhail Prechuk stands a chance of getting amongst all of this as well. Prechuk's been sitting there in 6th place for a while. He'll try and snatch some slipstream off of Lockwood across the line, but Moran defending into the first turn here. Suddenly, Andrew, who's I think gotten used to being up the front tonight, finds himself a bit swamped.
Yeah, Andrew not used to being in the middle of a 5 or 6 car pack, and Michael Prechek applying a lot of pressure here. Lots of pressure going up this straightaway, and Andrew Moran maintaining position. Andrew looking to move forward on Brian Lockwood, but nothing happening right now.
Yeah, looks like the top two might just hold station for a bit here. Kane is a coach for a reason. He has quite a bit of success under his belt. Ben Velzen, meanwhile, still has to keep Lockwood behind him, but potentially could tactically let Lockwood by and use him to get a slipstream up to the top too. Still a lot left to go in this race. We still have 12 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, the Liam Benfelsen needing Brian Lockwood to work with him. Michael Dowden is opened up a little bit of a second, looks like about a second gap on 3rd place right now, and these guys really got to start working together, not battling so hard if they want to get up, 1st or 2nd place.
Another good run out of Hans Ernst there for Brian Lockwood, but Ben Velzen is placing his car in all the right spots here and holding on nicely to 3rd. They've got to be careful not to let the top two skip away here. That would be the worst thing to happen at this point. It is a longer race. You got plenty more chances, but if you let them get too far ahead, then it's game over. Side by side for the lead again. Dowden working nicely with Halliburton at the moment, and Lockwood has found his way into 3rd. So now this is the chance for Bentvelsen and Moran to maybe follow in the wheel tracks of our coach here and make life difficult for Halliburton and Dowden.
Yeah, what better way to learn than follow the coach, and that's why they are a coach. We're watching Leon Bentvelsen falling along behind Brian Lockwood. Those drivers are about a second behind the leaders right now. They need to work together, just like Kane Halliburton and Michael Dowden have been doing.
Some good racing behind as well. Rafael Romansky and Lee Martinez fighting, it seems, over 13th place. Or is that Romansky on the back of Sammy Hendricks? It is. So Romansky and Hendricks, 2 cars are focusing on for a moment there. Dipping and diving across the top of the circuit.
Yeah, we pick it back up. We've got Brian Lockwood still holding off Liam Bentvelsen and Andrew Moran coming up into the chicane. Meanwhile, we've got these 4 cars, but the Kane Halliburton continuing to hold the lead over Michael Dowden. These guys working together. They're gapping them just a little bit more each lap, Reese, and they keep working together like this. It's going to be really difficult for that second pack to catch up.
Yeah, this is the time where we should be keeping an eye on lap times, I think, as it looks like Moran's got past Bentvelsen for 4th. Across the line, Halliburton and Dowden, looks like even a bit of bump drafting going on between the two of them. Mid 143s for them both. Lockwood and Moran also mid 143s. Bentvelsen losing a bit of time on that lap, but he is still well within chance of that battle. And Prechuk, a 144.0. Yeah, tell you what, the times are actually pretty equal amongst the top 4. I think we might be heading for a bit of a stalemate here unless something happens.
Yeah, it's definitely good, close, competitive racing, but that little gap there is going to be hard to close down. Bump drafting doesn't work so well in these cars, but you definitely want to get right up under the exhaust pipe of the car ahead of you to maximize your gains.
Sean Haggerty, meanwhile, 9th place for him. And he's one of those drivers who tonight hasn't had the biggest difference between his starting and finishing positions. He did gain 4 spots in race 2, but he's been hovering around this 8th and 9th place area. I think he's just biding his time and waiting for that opportunity to move. He's got Matt Larkin in the purple car ahead, and then Mark Frederick running 7th place at the front of that sort of sub-train in this quite large train of cars that goes all the way back to Ian Joyner in 11th. And speaking of Joyner, well, I think he would have been hoping for a lot better from tonight's racing. Remember, this is the guy that started on pole position for race 1. He ran the fastest time in qualifying, and he's got a lot of great potential there. But race 1 ended horribly for him. Race 2 even more so. At least he'll maybe be able to get into the top 10 in race 3. Still, the leaders go at it. Kane Halliburton and Michael Dowden dicing their way around the first sector.
Yeah, and meanwhile, while they're doing that, they've been doing that very effectively, though, not battling too hard and maintaining that gap to Andrew Moran, Brian Lockwood, Leon Benfelsen in behind them.
And the view on board from Lockwood. Andrew Moran succeeding in getting past him here, and now that Moran's been unleashed, as it were, we'll see if he wastes no time trying to catch up to Dowden and Halliburton. Problem for Dowden is he can't really help Andrew catch up here, because he needs to keep that slipstream to Halliburton in order to avoid losing that advantage that he has. If he just lets Halliburton get away for the sake of giving Moran a bit of slipstream, then it's basically game over for them. Moran, though, no stranger to going for a little bit of lawn mowing and playing in the sandpit.
Yeah, Moran making full use of all the track and then some, doing everything he can to try and close that gap. Meanwhile, Brian Lockwood holding on tough, and we're going to go back a little further. We've got a nice little battle going on. We've got Matt Larkin battling Ian Joyner. These guys too wide going up into the chicane, it looks like, and wow.
Yeah, that's Vancevicius in the white car on the inside. Sean Haggerty will be demoted back to 9th ever so briefly. And keep an eye out for Matt Larkin here. He's going to get the slipstream in the ramp off of Ari Luyendijk. Almost looking for 4 wide down the front straight. We are going to go 3 wide for 7th spot. For 9th spot, sorry. Easy does it. It's actually the battle for 8th. My apologies. Keep looking at the wrong numbers here, but what a race we are having in multiple areas of this field. Tell you what, Dowden and Halliburton still haven't left each other alone. Slight problem there. Bit of contact between Haggerty and Vancevicius. That's compromised their pace for the both of them. And they'll leave the door open for Matt Larkin. But how many times have we seen Michael Dowden and Kane Halliburton going side by side? See, this is how the drivers behind catch up. You run side by side for too long, you cost both of yourselves time to the cars behind who have the luxury of taking the fastest line at every corner.
Yeah, they did a great job the opening few laps of maintaining positions and gapping the 3rd, 4th, and 5th place. But now we've got, looks like we've got a 5 or 6 car train going, because that battling has allowed Andrew Moran to close right back up. He's dragging along Brian Lockwood and Liam Benfelsen.
Indeed, another potential move, bit of contact. Halliburton banging wheels with Michael Dowden, and that's going to let Andrew Moran ever closer. This is the view on board from the other coach, Brian Lockwood, out of the final couple of turns here to end the 9th lap of this race. And my timing is projecting 12 laps for this race. So we will have we'll have the 3 lap to go mark right now. Look at the slipstream that these guys are getting. Benfelsen still right with them here. Both coaches to the inside, both Team Blue cars to the outside. How much of a hard race are they going to give these guys?
Well, it looks like they're giving him a hard race altogether. And Liam Benfelsen just, he's sitting in the bird seat here. He's looking 5th and just following this train of 4 cars and looking to take advantage. And he's got around the outside. And Liam Benfelsen, wow.
That's a brilliant exit. Once again from Benfelsen. He seems to really be in tune with what's required at the exit of Hugenholtz there. He'll put Andrew Moran behind him for now. And this is probably Benfelsen setting up for a run at the lead. He's just got to make sure that Andrew Moran doesn't cost him too much if he does go for a move. I like what Benfelsen is doing here. He's been sitting at the back of this fight. He has been letting these guys do what they do. and he's been staying in touch. At such a draft-heavy track like Zandvoort, a little bit wide, Moran might get back through. At such a draft-heavy track in cars that are so powerful in the draft, you want to save those moves for the final lap. You don't want to be doing that too much, going side by side through these corners. They're going to have to take a lap or two to catch back up to the top 3.
Yeah, there's no sense making your move on lap 9 or lap 10 when there's 2 more laps to go, because as we've seen in the previous race, moves can be made on the last corner and the last straightaway. As we watch Kane Halliburton, Michael Dowden going around the outside, Brian Lockwood taking a look, and Brian Lockwood just content to sit there in third. We've got Kane Halliburton battling back on the inside. Kane getting the wheels overlapped. Oh my goodness.
And barely any room between those two, and now Brian Lockwood has surely joined the party. Now Andrew Moran is the one on the outside looking in for the top 3, and his teammate will be taken around the outside by Brian Lockwood. Our coaches are now running 1 and 2. Will they stay that way? What kind of response does Team Blue have for this? Ben Velzen's still sitting in the background, monitoring these goings-on from a distance.
Yeah, I think the coaches are going to want this victory here, but Team Blue is wanting none of that. Meanwhile, Leon Benfels, and he might be sitting in the best seat in the house here, Reese.
Yeah, certainly might. Top 4 all in a line as they find their way around the tight right-hander into the left. And, oh, that's very wide there from Halliburton. He's let Lockwood by, and Dowden might just get him too. But Halliburton gets the exit. He can't take advantage of the momentum, though. He was a little faster than Lockwood. Down into Hans Ernst. They come all over the curb, is Halliburton, to try and get the fastest line through here. This is all working out to the favor of Andrew Moran and Leon Benfels, they can see all of this side-by-side happening and just know that, that they'll be able to swoop through and take advantage on the final lap. Speaking of the final lap, it is about to begin. Benfelsen switching up high just a little bit, and they're going to go 3 wide. Halliburton, Dowden, and Moran. Switching back to the outside is Brian Lockwood, and Moran right in the middle of all of this. Halliburton will continue to keep second place. Now Benfelsen is going to join the fray side by side with Dowden for 4th place. Then Noah's arcing it into Hugenholtz.
Oh my goodness, we got the coaches up front. Then we've got Leon Benfelsen. Wow, another great move. He keeps getting great exits there, but oh.
Man, they almost banged wheels there. I think they might have touched wheels, did Benfelsen and Dowden. For now, Andrew Moran focusing eyes forward on those 2 gold cars up at the head of this field. Is there anything left to be done here? You have to wait for the exit of Hans Ernst, for the exit of the second last corner, pick up the slipstream through Arie Luyendyk, and then maybe you'll be able to get the momentum down the start-finish straight. Tighter exit than Kane Halliburton there for Moran, but he can't take advantage. They'll be side by side again coming into the Hans Ernst chicane. I really love those curbs. Slight snap for Benfelsen. He's going to slide. He's going to fall out of touch with the top 4. And I think that's going to be his campaign for victory over. A really well-driven race from Benfelsen. But now it's going to be between Moran and Halliburton for 2nd place. Brian Lockwood leading out of the final corner. Is there anything that Moran can do here? Foot flat to the floor. Does he have time to pull out and get a move done? Halliburton blocking him at the final confrontation. Lockwood's going to be your final race winner of the season, with Halliburton helping to bring home a 1-2 for the coaches. Andrew Moran will crown his champion's drive with a 3rd in the final round.
What another fabulous finish we had here as we watch Anthony Lanassa. Anthony had an early incident and coming in 15th.
Oh, man, what a unfortunate turnaround for Anthony Lanassa, and Cairo N's going to be one of the final drivers to make his way across the line. It looks like Vijay Rajasekaran is still out there as well, so we're going to be waiting a little bit before we go through our final results here. Man, What a final race that was. The tactics on display. And it was all clean up at the front, wasn't it? That's the main takeaway from this. They battled hard, but they battled clean. And that's exactly what we want to see as broadcasters.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there were a bunch of incidents in the mid pack, but all the top five, it was clean. Good hard racing, a little bit of touching here and there, but for the most part, people giving each other space, respecting each other as racers, and battling hard, staying in the draft and making moves when the opportunity presented itself.
Well, Vijay Rajasekaran, a driver who had been on the pace all season, but the results just haven't reflected it so far. He'll end his season with a lowly 17th, and hopefully next season is kinder to him, because he definitely has a big heap of talent behind the wheel of that number 5. Well, it looks like that is going to be the end of the night, the end of the season. Brian Lockwood and Kane Halliburton showing what the coaches can really do up at the front of the field. Andrew Moran capping off his season with a 3rd place. He is extremely likely to be your champion. Michael Dowden and Leon Benvelsen rounding out your top 5. Benvelsen fighting to the very end there, with Ian Joyner and Matt Larkin 6th and 7th, Valdas Vansavicius and Sean Haggerty 8th and 9th. The top 10 rounded out by Mark Frederick. Behind him, Rafael Romansky and Lee Martinez battling for 11th place. Sammy Hendricks in lucky 13th. Mikhail Prechuk, he was up there at points tonight, but has to settle for 14th in the final race. Same for Anthony Lanassa, who finishes in 15th. Cairo Enns had a lot of potential for a great result tonight. It did not come to pass. 16th for him. Vijay Rajasekaran in 17th, the last finisher from the final race. Garrett Lund, 2 laps down. He unfortunately could not capitalize on that very good start for the final race. Zomotor and Sabinias, Rivera and Sargent retiring from the race. Such a shame for all of them. I think what I've noticed this season is there is a great pool of talent in this series, and if consistency is just a little better from some drivers, then we're going to be seeing some brilliant sim racers coming out of this league. Well, it looks like we have our first driver in here in the form of Andrew Moran. We are going to have a chat to him here, and our likely champion here crowned at Zandvoort. Andrew, what a night from you. Didn't quite get the triple, but it was a brilliant final race there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of back and forth. It was good. Couldn't complain too much, just not in the right place at the last lap. But the previous 2 races were good, and I would say, especially in that second race, placed the car well going into the last turn. So it was a lot of fun. I love Zandvoort. And yeah, preliminary champion. Man, there's only one thing I can think of that I get a penalty for, but I still have enough points, so I'm good. So yeah, so I'm pretty happy, I guess.
As you should be. I mean, that final round was almost perfect from you. Didn't quite get pole position, but came back to win both of those 2 races, at the 2 15-minute ones at least, and battling hard with Brian and Kane to the very end in race 2. What was it like racing against those coaches? Me and Richard were saying that the battle was hard, but it was clean.
Yeah, they race hard. Kane is particularly good at squeezing everything out of the car and just putting you like he knows it felt like he knew exactly where I should be for him to make, keep the position or not let me get the pass. So yeah, it's fun because it's to where I need to get to, but yeah, it's nice to even just be able to race with someone that good. So.
Indeed. Well, yeah, provisionally, you are the champion of the Almeida Racing League for Season 2, and hopefully that success continues in future seasons of this series. Before we let you go, Andrew, anyone you want to thank for your efforts today?
Thanks to everybody on the blue team, Mark, Garrett, Sean, and Michael specifically. Those guys were pretty much at every race or most of them. So they all helped out as much as they could, and it was a good season from us, the top split boys. But yeah, hopefully we'll be back, and maybe I'll get a team championship one of these seasons.
Yeah, indeed. Team Blue not quite on top here, but thanks very much for joining us,
Yeah,
Andrew, and hopefully get a chance to chat to you next time.
thanks, guys.
Well, that was Andrew Moran, the provisional champion of the series. Next up, Richard stood by with what I presume to be a very happy Leon Bentvelsen.
Hey, Leon, welcome to the booth, and you had some great results tonight. How was it for you?
Yeah, it was just great. Having your home race in front of your fan base, hitting a podium. What more do you want?
Oh, that was some exciting racing. We saw you getting some excellent exits, taking that high line, and some thrilling action for you, thrilling action for us. And we were impartial, but we were still cheering you on, Leon. And
Great.
how'd the season go for you?
Yeah, a bit unlucky most of the time, but when it was all going good, I was up there in the top 5, so can't complain.
Very, very good. And we're very impressed. We know you had your cheering section. We know you at your home track. What's the future hold for Leon?
Yeah, don't know. Some more racing, having fun on track, and keep improving.
Oh, excellent. Anybody you'd like to thank for the season?
Yeah, of course, the Almeida Racing Academy, all the coaches, everyone on track, giving some good, clean racing, and of course the fan base, everybody cheering me on. It was a great time, and hope we can do the same next season.
Well, congratulations once again, Leon. And now that you're home and had a podium on your home track, go out and celebrate.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to Zandvoort tomorrow, so it's going to be fun.
Excellent. Enjoy.
Nice.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Leon Bentvelsen there, getting a podium in race 2. And finally, we're going to close things out with a chat to our coach, Brian Lockwood, who took the win in the final race of the day. Brian, another season down of the Almeida Racing League, and it looks like the successes just keep coming overall.
Yeah, it's been awesome to see everybody in the league continue developing. I mean, that race we had in the end there, I think, was really illustrative of, hey, some of us are getting really fast, and everybody else is getting faster and faster. There's a lot of smart racing there. A lot of, Kane and I were able to take that win because we have a lot of experience playing those chess matches, and Kane set it up absolutely beautifully. But everybody had a real shot, and it came down to little mistakes, little optimizations. So yeah, real high five, awesome job to everybody involved in the feature race there. And high five to everybody. It's been another great season. Most everybody's coming out, putting their best foot forward, really trying to improve each and every week using the resources that we're providing. And yeah, it's brilliant to see everybody taking such steps forward. Also, by the way, shout out to Ian Joyner with an absolute flyer of a race in the consolation. I mean, he started way in the back. I saw that his pace was there all day. That was pretty cool. Good job, Ian.
Yeah, indeed. There were some great performances to come out of this final round.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's just thanks to the hard work of everybody that is involved in this, though. On the coaching side, we're doing a lot to put together all the programs, all the environments for the members to succeed. On the members side, they're all taking advantage of these things. They're all working really, really hard to improve. So yeah, no, things are good. I think we'll leave it at that.
Absolutely. Yeah, indeed. Well, before we let you go, can you give us any clues as to what the next season may hold for the Almeida Racing League?
Oh, next season is going to be something a little bit different.
Okay.
I think we will have a lot of fun, and it'll be really valuable for everybody involved. Just in case the word different is scaring you, we're going to go back to this same format at the start of next iRacing season, so for season 5. But we are going to play with something, or a lot of somethings, for this next upcoming season. Not going to give you any more than that. Stay tuned. There's going to be an official announcement coming today or tomorrow. Yeah, we'll have some exciting stuff going on.
Excellent stuff. Well, I'm certainly intrigued by that answer, and if any of you out there are intrigued too, sign up for the Almeida Racing Academy, and you will be able to get access to the Almeida Racing League and get signed up in time for the next season. Brian Lockwood, thanks very much for joining us, and congratulations on the win there in the final race. Hopefully, catch you next season.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, guys. Have a great one.
Well, Brian Lockwood will celebrate his victory there, and we will find ourselves towards the end of this broadcast, Richard. Man, what a final round of the championship. I'm so glad that the crew at the Almeida Racing Academy brought us on here at Pit Road Productions to bring this league to the masses and show what the students of the Almeida Racing Academy can do.
Oh, definitely. And, it's my first time in the booth with the Almeida Racing League, and I have watched a couple of the races earlier in the season, and today just did not disappoint. Exciting action, start to finish, in each of the 3 races. Some fantastic racing, great racecraft, great driving, and we couldn't have asked for a better finish, Reese.
Certainly not. Well, thanks very much, everybody across the world on YouTube for tuning in, whether you've come from the Pit Road Productions channel or Suelio Almeida's channel. We really appreciate your viewership. And yeah, like Brian Lockwood said, stay tuned in the coming days for announcements concerning next season. I'm Reese Gardner, Richard Swindell's alongside me in the commentary box, and Rob Goatee Campbell behind the scenes bringing you these live pictures here. Congratulations to all the race winners, the championship winner, and everyone who had a good race today. We'll see you next time.
If you're a racing driver and you want to reach an advanced level, there's a faster and easier way to become competitive. I've gone from this to this in 5 years. Now, we've created the perfect free driver development guide to help you understand the right order of racing skills to develop if you want to become a competitive driver as quickly as possible. This guide was made after 3,000 hours of combined high-level coaching.